Now, there hasn't been many neck knives I've come across that have hung around. Get it? Hung around because neck knives, they hang around your neck. Now, the McNees Necker is an interesting little neck knife to consider due to three of my primary concerns and considerations for a neck knife to be a suitable candidate to hang around this all-important neck of mine. So let's see if this little fella gets to hang around. Well, hello there, gentlemen, and welcome to Gentleman's Caddy. My friends call me Junior. Now, before we get started on this here McNees Necker, and whether I decide to pocket or pack it, be sure to subscribe to the channel as it helps the channel grow. And be sure to smash that there like button. Smash it nice and hard as it tells YouTube you like this here gentleman's work. Now, my interest in neck knives has stemmed primarily from wanting to use them as a defensive backup that can blend in easily with the wardrobe, essentially making it blend like a necklace with a ball chain or a dog tag style chain, actually like the ones that's provided here in the box from McNees himself. And you'll find these most standard from most knife manufacturers out of the box as well. No one would be the wiser that you actually have a knife hanging around your neck. You'll actually just think perhaps it's just a necklace with a pendant, just a piece of jewelry. Unless, of course, they're watching this video. That could actually be a problem. Now, I've actually had a number of women ask over the years what kind of a necklace I was wearing and if I had a pendant on it. And my response has always been, if you're lucky enough, you may get to see it, but you have to get my shirt off first. But those are stories for another time, gentlemen. Good times. Now, if some of you may have experienced yourself, there are some issues with neck knives. Now, I've boiled it down to three primary considerations I make before I consider a neck knife, based on my experience, guided by wisdom, and the countless, I'd say dozens perhaps, of neck knives that haven't hung around over the years. Now, number one for me is safety. Now, this is the primary reason that initially held me back from getting into neck knives. And it actually seems to be the primary reason that holds most fellas back as well. I personally was always concerned with a neck knife coming loose in the sheath and then either bending over or being in an awkward position and the knife coming loose and then being taken out by my own knife. I'm not even sure what they would call that, accidental death or self-deletion, whatever they call it, it's not going to be pretty. And then, of course, there's also the scenario of it falling to the ground and then taking out the dog or just falling to the ground and losing it entirely. So sheath integrity and retention has to be solid to retain the knife, to prevent any unwanted release. So that's critical. That's absolute critical. So the second consideration is the overall size of the knife and also the size of the entire platform here together as one, both knife and sheath together, because this is what's going to hang around your neck here. Now, the size for me, primarily, I don't want this thing too long. I don't want the thing touching my navel. And it also has to be light enough to prevent any unwanted weight and pressure around the neck. Now, I found the sweet spot is actually when the knife centers at the very bottom of the chest sternum. So it has to be in the sweet spot there. So that's light enough that it's not unwanted weight, but still has some mass to it that I can actually grab onto the thing in an ergonomically comfortable way, and I don't actually forget that it's there. Now, the third consideration is blade steel. Now, a neck knife is going to be close to the body. Now, if you're like me, I like to carry a neck knife under the shirt for concealment purposes. So I need a blade steel that's going to withstand the corrosive nature of the body. So a stainless steel with a high corrosive resistant blade steel is an absolute necessity for any knife I consider to be used as a neck knife. Now, before we continue on to the specifications of the B Necker here, here's a quick word from the Ozark line, the channel's new sponsor. In the fields of architecture, engineering, design, and construction, precision is paramount. Professionals often find themselves in situations where having the right tools at their disposal can significantly impact their work efficiency and accuracy. Arc carry and civil carry were conceived from the recognition of a common challenge faced by architects, engineers, builders, drafters, fabricators, and suppliers: the need for a portable and accessible scow. Now consider the scenario of ascending to the roof of a building with the roof plan in hand, only to realize that you left your scow in the car. Well, that's been me countless times. Such moments can lead to unnecessary delays and inaccuracies in measurements. This highlights the importance of having a reliable and easily transportable measuring device. Now, Arc Carry is designed as the only 3-inch everyday carry wallet-sized scow on the market. This innovative design ensures that professionals are never caught without a scow. And for everyone else, well, the Ozark line has a variety of rulers to stay accurate on the go. Head on over to Ozark Line, an exclusive partner with Etsy, at etsy.com/shop/Ozark Line, where you'll find a wide array of unique tools and gifts for design professionals on the go you won't find anywhere else. Now, if you're familiar with the Spyderco Mcbee, for instance, if you have one in hand or one in your pocket, this here B Necker, I would say has a very similar profile and size to the Mcbee from Spyderco, and also in a Wharncliffe blade style as well. Now, I don't have one in hand here myself. It's a very popular knife though, and I actually did own one for a period of time, and I actually regret selling it. But if you have one in hand, the folding knife, that is, it has a very similar profile to it, just to give you a comparison there. Now, the Wharncliffe blade style has actually really grown on me over the years. It's very functional. It's a very functional blade style that allows you to put your finger up here on the spine of the blade and choke up on the knife overall here, especially on a smaller knife like this from McNees. Now, this here is a custom knife made in the good old USA from McNees' shop here. Now, I purchased this directly from the maker, and it comes in this here box, and it comes with the ball chain, as we were discussing, or a dog tag style chain. It actually does come with a dog tag as well, and a little thank you note there from McNees himself, which is a very nice touch. And obviously you get the blade and sheath in the box as well. So now, even though this knife is actually called the Necker, it's actually marketed as more than just a neck knife. You can actually add on a clip here to the sheath, and you can use it for belt or pocket carry if you prefer. Now, I don't have one here for review purposes here, as I intended to use it as a neck knife primarily, but it's certainly a nice option to consider for the future. Now, that's for sure, and it's always nice to see when the maker can add on certain things to the same platform and give people, their customers, more options there for consideration. Now, for comparison purposes, I actually have another neck knife here, my only other neck knife, that is, and this here is the Fred Perrin Le Heron. That's just French for the heron, the bird, the heron. Now, I've carried this here fella and let it hang around for the last 5 years, and it's the only other neck knife I own. Now, I actually did a video on this about 5 years or so ago, and I'll actually link to that video down below if you're interested in seeing that review as well. Now, you could see that they're both similar in size, and you can see I prefer my neck knives to be a little smaller. Now, the overall size on the B Necker here is actually only 3.5 inches in total length. So that's total length is 3.5 inches here. Now the Le Heron from Fred Perron is about 4 inches, so a little bit longer there. But you can see my personal preference is for a little bit shorter in length here. That's what drove me to do a review on this here little fella. So the overall length, as I said, is 3.5 inches long. The blade length itself, the cutting length here, is about 1.25 inches. The ring diameter here, it's 1 inch. That's 1 inch, the interior diameter there. So that's perfect for me, and I have larger size hands, so it should fit most fellas' fingers just fine. So that should be just sufficient enough for most. It's very comfortable in hand for me. The overall weight there is 1.13 ounces, so it's a light fella, and it's about similar to that of the Le Heron there. So you can see I like my neck knives kind of similar and in size here. Now, it's a very small knife, as I said, and I personally like to extend the grip of a smaller knife just because you can see my ring and pinky finger here hang off and they're not getting any action here on the knife. So me personally, I like to have a little bit of grip there, as you can see on the Le Heron here. So I like to grip, a little bit of, I like to have something in hand, essentially. So I will go ahead and add that on there, if I do indeed keep this here fella, just to give me a little bit more grip there. But that's me. Some people like just the way it is, and that's perfectly fine. Now it feels fantastic in hand. The finger ring is very nice, very nicely chamfered there, so there's no hot spots or sharp edges here. Let's see if that can focus in here. There we go. You can see it's very nicely chamfered there. We've got some jimping there on the spine of the blade here. So not too aggressive, just enough that you can tell that your finger there, your thumb is on the spine of the blade there, and that you can choke up on the blade if you need be. So the fit and finish is fantastic. Now we do have this is a flat dark earth, or FDE as they call it. It's a Cerakote coating. There are other styles it comes in if you prefer a non-coated blade. Now the one issue with coating over time, you're going to find as you pull it in and out of the sheath here, it's going to wear. And there's really no other way, around that. It's just going to happen here. Accessing the knife in and out, you're going to have some wear there on the finish itself. Now the blade steel, as we were talking about. Now this is a Nitro V. As you can see here on the back here, USA Nitro V. So the Nitro V does have a nitrogen content in it. So that's definitely going to increase the corrosion resistance, as we were talking about, being close to the body. Along, obviously, with chromium content that's in Nitro V, which is absolutely essential to be categorized as a stainless steel. Now, there are better options for corrosion resistance, one being the LC200 steel that we're seeing a lot of out of, say, Spyderco's line there for the Salt series. But the Nitro V has held up very nicely in other knives that I've owned. So no rust or pitting really to report. So, and now we all know all steels aren't created equal, and even the same steels aren't created equal depending on the heat treatment. But as I said, I haven't had any problems with Nitro V. It's been a very good performer there as well, on top of the corrosion resistance. So that checks that box there. Now, as we were discussing before, this is a Wharncliffe blade style here. And that's really grown on me over the years, even from an aesthetic standpoint, actually. It's actually a very nice little profile knife. So the edge type here, obviously, as you can see, is plain. It's a plain edge style here. You can see it does come with the Kydex sheath, that is. The sheath is really what is selling me on this here fella. This has to be one of the best retentions I found in any neck knife sheath. and perhaps any retention on a sheath, kind of sheath in general. And it's very tight and secure. You really have to pull on this here to release the knife. And that is essential for me. That's something you really want in a neck knife. I want to have this knife be retained for safety purposes. That's an absolute real winner for me. It's fantastic there. It's a nice little solid package. No rattling here at all. It's very solid, very beautifully crafted. Fit and finish is fantastic. Overall, in the knife itself and the sheath as well. So top notch there. Now the price on this fella is actually very compelling. It was only $125, direct from the man himself, McNees, and that's fantastic from my point of view, because I've had literally dozens of neck knives over the years, and if you want a reasonably decent neck knife, you're going to be paying in that price range between $1 to $150. So it's right in the sweet spot there, in my mind, what you're getting. So I think this is a phenomenal deal overall in terms of price. On the secondary market, you may find them for about $150 or so, and depending on the add-on there, if you want an add-on there for your pocket clip, it may be a couple more bucks there, but not too bad at all, not too shabby. So overall, it's very comfortable in hand. It's really growing on me actually. Very nice, nicely made piece here from McNees. Let's see here. Now I have decided to pocket this here little fella, or in this case, let it hang around. It checks all three of my considerations and concerns for a neck knife, if you were paying attention, that is. And it's just a great little piece made with great materials, and it just feels fantastic in hand here. It really does. Very nice job here on the ergos. It's very comfortable in hand, very nice. Well, between using the ring here and also the finger choil here, it just grips the hand here fantastic. Feels wonderful here. It really does. I will add a lanyard, as I said before, just to give me some more grip. That's just me being picky here. And I will have to get used to engaging the knife, because I have a tendency to want to use my index finger to pull this out, but actually you need to use your ring finger here to engage. So your index finger can fall into place here on the finger choil. So there you go. So there you have it, gentlemen. I now own 2 neck knives. I did not think I'd own 2, but there you have it. Well, let me know your thoughts, gentlemen, in the comments below. If there's a knife or a piece of EDC gear you're interested in and you think I should take a look at it, well, let me know in the comments as well. With all that being said, have a great day or night, whenever and wherever you are. Thanks for watching, gentlemen.